Jessica Tarloff, where do you see things standing right now with the attack on the House of Biden?
He's still the nominee, and he's getting more and more defiant about it. In his interview with Lester Holt, and we showed a clip of it, he said that the only person that he's consulting about whether to leave the race is himself. That's a lot smaller than the inner circle we had even thought of, that included his wife and Hunter. So while all that is going on, and he has recognized, and I do appreciate that the debate was obviously incredibly startling for people and that he wants to have conversations about it, I keep thinking about that big Tim Alberta piece in The Atlantic.
Me too.
I'm glad that we're finally thinking about the same thing. I feel like that's never happened before. But the Trump campaign's plan, and they think they could get 320 electoral votes, hinges on Biden being the nominee. There is no backup plan for them about how to run against Kamala Harris or for them to, figure out who Gretchen Whitmer is or Gavin Newsom or Wes Moore. And I know that that's weighing heavily on these elected officials. Now, Biden is most certainly the nominee. You see the new AP poll, 65% of Dems want him to step aside. I should say also 57% of the general voting public wants Trump to step aside. But this conversation that the elites are the ones that are calling for him to move is not fair when you're talking about these elected officials, because they are getting calls from their constituents that are concerned about this. And if we lose those seats, and the House your red wave finally comes, which you didn't get in 2022, and we don't maintain control of the Senate, and you're looking at a trifecta for the Republicans with Donald Trump on the top, Project 2025 coming into full view, that's not a reality that any Democrat wants to live with.
Judge Jeanine.
Well, it's interesting. The Democrats were quiet for a few days after President Trump was shot. And now all of a sudden, all hell is breaking loose. They're besides themselves. The head of the Teamsters, for the first time in history, is speaking at a Republican National Convention and saying that Donald Trump is a tough SOB, and all Teamsters are that I know, too. So they are, the kumbaya with Biden is over. It's time to get rid of him. They know it. Joe Biden says now, apparently the only guy he listens to is himself, but initially it was Almighty God, and then it was the second reason he would give up, I forget what it was, but now he added a doctor to it. Yeah, the polls show he couldn't win, then he added a doctor to it. But here's what Joe may or may not know, and that is that 63% of Americans don't think that he's involved in any of the decision-making in the White House. That is scary. That means we've got a vessel, or a Trojan horse, as I always said, who is running the White House. Has the White House been honest and transparent with the American people? 7 out of 10 people say the White House has been misleading as to information. So he can show that there are no signs of budging, but I think that when you've got, Schiff, Schiff doesn't move without Pelosi. You have Clooney. Clooney doesn't move without Obama. And you've got the Teamsters. It's time to go.
Yeah, the California contingent really doesn't want Joe Biden in there.
Oh, actually, it's interesting you say that, because I talked to someone today who said that the donors in California are absolutely freaking out. And I imagine that Shifty Schiff's numbers are so bad that he realizes that he could lose, and he really wants to win.
In California?
Well, that he could lose the presidency, that they're going to lose the presidency.
Right.
And the majority in the Senate.
Right.
And so then he'll just be a backbencher in the Senate. And
right.
why did he do that when he had this powerful position in the House that he could have kept? Rich Lowry wrote a piece at National Review that posted about an hour before this show that says this is getting embarrassing. And I think we all sort of feel it, right? There's about a 90-second clip going around from the NAACP speech.
Oh, yeah.
You had a Vox reporter saying that the president is having a hard time even reading the teleprompter. Yesterday, he said he was going to cap rent at $55.
I'm excited.
Ooh,
and honestly,
yeah.
We all make verbal stumbles at times, but now it's getting to be, it's concerning. I think embarrassing is a good word, but I also want to add this. I think it is unethical what the Democrats are asking their voters to do. They're asking them to give their hard-earned money to a campaign to elect somebody that they know cannot serve for 4 years. It's not right.
It's not right, Greg. It's just not right.
It isn't right, but enough about your career. I think The Democrats are seeing what we already saw, that this whole thing has gone on too far, and it's almost too late to create a new course. It reminds me of, like, when a movie is about 90% finished, and then the lead actor is Kevin Spacey. It was like House of Cards, and all of a sudden they're like, what do we do? What do we do? Do we replace him with Christopher Plummer? I don't know. Is Christopher Plummer still alive? I'm not sure. That's where they are. They are in a panic because they are almost finished with this movie, and the movie is DOA. Joe is now living, when you look at that NAACP speech, is living by the reflexes of past cliches that might have been endearing in the past, and he would be incentivized by these cute little anecdotes that weren't true. Now they seem tied together like tin cans on the bumper of a dead automobile. He's like, you know what he is? He's like the last guy at the bar who won't leave, and everybody wants to go home. The Democratic Party wants to go home, but he's still sitting at the bar because he's the brother-in-law of the owner, and he's going to have another drink, and all the waitresses want to get home and feed their cats, but they can't because this jackass won't leave. I would feel sorry for him, but I don't, because I alternate before pity and also just he's despicable. The falsehood about Trump calling the National Guard to quell George Floyd's peaceful protests. That's on equal part of the Fine People hoax. He said to the NAACP that Trump called the Guard on them. So he's obviously grasping at the only weapon he has left, which is racial conflict. And it shows, as I've said, that if you live by identity politics, you're going to die by it. Trading in the idea of an American identity for these fractious, disparate, contentious victimology groups has done nothing for the Democrats but rip them alive inside. And they thought that this hollow husk of a man could carry them across the finish line. Sorry.
I felt like Joe Biden at dinner last night. It was 10:15. We were the only ones at the restaurant, and we were still having dessert, and all of the help just surrounded us and started staring at us while they were like washing
the dishes. You don't care, and you didn't care.
I was going to finish my dessert.
And you did.
Don't intimidate me.
The race is still a toss-up, by the way.
No, it's not.
Yes,
in your head. Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't get it anywhere else.